Hello, so Football Talk here, back with another weekly NFL video breakdown. And we had to shift over to YouTube for this one, because I want to look at how the Saints defense dominated the Bucs on Sunday and shut them out. But there wasn't really like 2 or 3 clips that could really capture what was going on, but rather I decided to do a bit of a longer version. And in this breakdown, I'm not going to talk about the run game, because New Orleans is already clearly the top run-stopping defense in the league, but more so situationally, they didn't do anything really fancy, because they have the guys on the back end to cover man-to-man, and the front has consistently gotten home against Tampa Bay these last 2 years. But it's the little things, adjustment from defensive coordinator Dennis Allen, that really made the difference once again. First Bucs drive of the day, they're in 3rd and 5, and actually going to pick this one up, because Demario Davis is showing pressure on the B-gap, and he's not quite quick enough to bubble back over the top and get to Leonard Fournette, who has him man coverage. Brady checks to it, and Fournette has him out-leveraged to the flats. Easy pickup, just because Davis can't quite get there in time. But now exacts him down in distance, and the Saints are in a double A-gap mug look, where it seems like they run a simple cover 1 again, only this time they peel those 2 defensive ends out into the flats, and they take away the hot route with Kyle Granderson. So as you can see, one step in and then bail out. Does an outstanding job of making that tackle in open space, which is not easy for defensive linemen. And please also check out that awesome pursuit from Marcus Williams as the single high safety here, to where even if Granderson doesn't come up with that stop, he's right there. Second drive now, another 3rd and 5. The Bucs covered in a 3-by-1 with a stack at the top here and Gronk in line. They motion the off receiver into the slot as a coverage indicator, but the nickel follows, and it doesn't really tell them that much because those safeties stay high, and only at the snap will you see them shade to the strong side a little bit here. Since this basically becomes 3 deep on the trip side, and then the rookie Paulson Adebo has Mike Evans here one-on-one wherever he goes. So now that they switch to zone and pass things off nicely, Tom has to hold on to the ball a little bit, and check out what the Saints are in up front. They have the center covered up with the nose here, and those 2 really wide alignments, forcing the right tackle and guard to fan that way. Cam Jordan beats the right guard, Alex Capel like a drum, swallows Brady for the sack. Is one of the best screen teams in the league, and this is a really good look with trips to the left here. And the inside linebacker Demario Davis, in theory having to make the tackle against Chris Godwin on a challenging angle. But Chauncey Gardner-Johnson here in the slot, one of the best and certainly the most feistiest nickels in the game, destroys Tyler Johnson here and blows up the play completely for really no gain. 3rd down, this time needing 7. The Bucs come on in a 2-by-2 set with Gronk tied to the left here. This time the Saints staying too high here with quarters, and everybody just has their eyes in the right places on the back end. While the ferocious front 4 gives Brady no room to step up, they take him down for a sack, lose 7, and they miss the 45-yard field goal right after that to stay scoreless. Before the half, chance to get back into the game, same situation, 3rd and 7, and the Bucs try to run an alternate flood concept out of a 3-by-1 set, with Cameron Brate as the single at the top here. He'll run in, Leonard Fournette has an angle route underneath, and then there's flood on the trip side with Scotty Miller on this pivot route here. Counter that, New Orleans goes back to cover 1 hole, with Cam Jordan bailing out to take away that threat to the flats, and he is inside by the whole safety. You'll see over here in a second they'll run a little twist up front, and as we watch this thing unfold, just tell me, who is open here? Nobody. Marcus Davenport gets around the center and takes down Brady for another big stop. Initial 3rd down of the second half now. The Saints once again show cover 1, and the Bucs run a pattern that should easily beat man in a couple of spots here. They have a stack to the right where they cross-release, and have Tyler Johnson on deeper mesh along with Gronk, plus then there's Scotty Miller in a reduced split as the X here, running this shallow crosser, and basically picking off the linebacker here, who's responsible for Leonard Fournette out into the flats. But they don't allow themselves to get picked off here, get really physical in coverage, and even when Gronk does get a hand on it, on a ball thrown slightly behind him, watch Marcus Williams scream down and hit right for the ball and knock it out to get that stop. Ensuing drive, 3rd and 7, New Orleans shows too high again here, and they roll that field side safety PJ Williams down as a robber, where they understand that Gronk remains the biggest threat now, remains the biggest threat here with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin out, so they have somebody capped over the top of him as the number 3, running this bender deep crosser here as the number 3, forcing Brady to hit Johnson here on the underneath crosser. Marshall Lattimore stays right in the hip pocket for it, secures the tackle with no yards after the catch, and forces 4th and short. And now all I want you to watch is this one-on-one matchup between Gronk and another long-term veteran, Malcolm Jenkins. Because as we watch this play, singled out at the bottom of the screen here, Brady initially looks over to the trip side to force the single high safety to shade that way, but then floats a high arcing ball to Gronk here. Yet Jenkins keeps swiping the hands, does not allow Gronk to out-physical him, never tucks, never grabs, and never draws a flag like many other young DBs would, which results in a turnover on downs. End of the third quarter, now in 3rd and 7, gotta make a stop here because the score is only 6-0. Tampa Bay comes out in a 2x2 with a stack at the top here. And this, as you will see in a moment, just shows you how little some of those receivers that were in the game at this point had time to run with the ones, because this I believe is supposed to be a simple scissors concept, with posts on the outside and the top of the stack here, and then some variations of out or corner routes from the inside receivers, while the running back Keyshawn Vaughn will be one-on-one with Kyle Granderson here once again, peeling out on the wheel route, who does a great job himself in a really tough matchup, although this should be the one to attack against a 270-pound defensive end. But as you can see, the Saints again are in one robber. Those corners are really physical, to where we have those two receivers on either side bang into each other. Now Brady decides to scramble up that inside lane, but just watch the effort here by Cam Jordan, about 4 yards away at this point. He does not give up, chases down Brady, punches the ball out from behind to keep those guys scoreless. And finally, this one was the dagger. It's the same thing again from a defensive perspective coverage-wise. PJ Williams buzzes down, Marcus drops deep, and they got man across the board. We got the semi-stack at the bottom of the trip side between Scotty Miller and Tyler Johnson, where they cross-release for another mesh concept, which you saw at the very beginning. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson does an excellent job of staying tight to his man here, allowing his teammate to bubble over the top. He does not allow any separation before actually slightly falling off on purpose, because he knows he can undercut this route, pick off the pass, and send the Bucs home again with a loss. Once again, this was an amazing showing by the Saints defense against the number 1 offense in the NFL. I know Tampa Bay lost the top 3 pass catchers throughout the day, but they got the asses whooped even before that, because New Orleans was physical and well coordinated on the back end. Their front 4 got home against the top pass protecting offensive line, and Dennis Allen had a few tweaks to keep Brady off balance, and they did all of that despite basically having no offense to let them catch their breaths, since those guys ran more than 5 plays on only their 3 field goal drives, and they started the second half with 4 straight 3-and-outs. Just an unbelievable job, and if the Bucs numbered the regular season, now 7-7, who knows what might happen in the NFC.